Yeah, I want to talk more about that, and also it circles back to just demographic collapse and why like it's hard to imagine what will happen. I used to think that okay, there's just going to be fewer people, and I don't know, it's going to be easier to buy houses. I guess like I didn't used to see it so negatively, but um, again, there's researching this. I found some people to make good arguments that it's like really a huge problem because our socio-economic systems expect exponential growth, and we've based our systems on those expectations for a long time now. So, for instance, you need something like 3 people working full time to pay for one person's pension, like one elderly person's pension, and like we're not at that
No,
ratio.
no. No,
We're not hitting
that
that
is
ratio.
definitely going to that it will bring about some kind of civil unrest, not very far in the future. I was talking to some people in France. It's already really heavy. I mean, the weight is very heavy on people there, and so I know that will, and that is definitely one of the reasons why here in Canada they've been pushing MAID. They've been pushing medical assisted dying because they know what's coming. And so yeah, it's all pretty terrifying.
Yeah, and even like in the private sector, so you can look at because it's happening already in some cities. Like they're not able to, let's say, pay the pensions of, let's say, the police force enough, and then they can't hire like more policemen because then they can't even pay for the pensions of the older like retirees. So like so you have less people in your town. Sorry, you have less policemen in your town. So like there's more crime. So people don't want to go there. So like the property values like they all
Go
go
down.
down. So there's fewer taxes. So it just spirals. And like in those situations, the people who are able to leave, like at the scale of a city or a country, like if a country starts to have this imbalance where there's too many old people and they're like trying to extract everything they can from the younger people for their pensions and for the public infrastructure and so on, like the young people who are able to leave, they'll just leave. So like you just perpetuate, like you just accelerate the problem. And like many countries seem to have gotten into this place where I don't
Yeah, yeah.
think they're really gonna get out. And it even
But
harkens back to
robots, though, robots. That's the solution.
good luck with that. Yeah.
Elon has been pushing hard for like that. He's based. I mean, I think he sees what we're seeing, and he's saying the only way forward is robots because there's no other. There's like no other way.
Yeah, maybe like Babel again. I'm super skeptical. Like
Yeah, I know. Well,
it's
that's
hard to
right.
make robots.
That's a right way to think about it. Is that the some of the interesting things about the recent robots, like there's this new robot where it seems to function, but it's actually someone in India with like a headset that is like controlling your robot in your house. My goodness. Um, so yeah, so I guess that could give us like a little bit of a little like a little longer, but I don't see it
Yeah,
doesn't. We need people.
yeah, I'm skeptical. And one thing that also to go back to one of your previous points that also parallels what we said earlier is like it's quite likely that as like governments start to collapse to due to lack of funding due to shrinking populations, like it's hard to imagine any country that can get out of this without some kind of dictatorship or like monarchical system, because like pensions are super popular. Like people don't, especially if you have a population of more elderly people,
Yeah.
they're unlikely to vote against pensions. So like in a democracy, like typically you won't fix the problem. So it's quite likely that at some point, like it seems like the only way that a country can get out of this kind of stuff is like someone just imposing, okay, like we're gonna get rid of all this like public spending and we're gonna start something else. Uh, so again, like Babel kind of system that just unifies everything.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And you can see, I mean, I think there's Millet, and then there's also Trump, who's kind of trying to do that, but he's not really succeeding. Doge was a desire to kind of do that, kind of make that kind of gesture, but doesn't seem like it's succeeding because he wants to be popular more than he wants to cut spending, and so he still has a massive deficit budget. So yeah, it doesn't I don't it's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out, but, I mean, I think that, though, the one thing that we can still say, even though there's danger in it, is that what all of this does demonstrate is that those who get married, have children, who raise families, like, they really are the only future. There is no other future. All other futures are they're stunted, they're selfish, and they lead to to degeneracy, and, they fizzle out, And so, and even though we have to be attentive to the problem of tyranny, which is definitely real, there still is no other way forward.